people like me. I'm so not in the mood to be broken and blue.
Podcasting from the Chicagoland area. This is Game On with Jackson Stuart, where we discuss men's lifestyle, focusing on sex, fitness, relationships, business, and more. We'll be interviewing the best of the best, the hot shots, and the rising stars in the worlds of modeling, fitness, cooking, and more. Influencers who are discussing keeping it sexy while at the top of their game. I'm your host, Jackson Stuart. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the game.
In the morning, you got me up, all 'cause you need to talk. To 4 in the evening, wanna break up, say that you're right.
Hey folks, welcome to our first episode, our first podcast of 2022 here on Game On with Jackson Stuart. Hope you all had a great holiday season. Hope everything went really good for you guys, and hope that you have a positive and strong outlook on the days up ahead. I know we're saying goodbye to 2021, and for some of us, that's good riddance. For some of us, it was probably, hopefully it was a good year. I know we're still in the throes of the pandemic. We're still trying to bring health issues under control, still trying to rebuild an economy and so on, and still just trying to come together. And I hope that, the year ahead of us is much brighter and much better than the years behind us, and that's entirely up to us. A few points before we jump into the show tonight. As always, I want to give some important plugs to guests who have, made no small effort to build their empires and create new and amazing creative ventures and products. So first up, please make sure you check out my man Dale Valor at Modern Valor Dating. He's launching some cool stuff, has launched some cool stuff about dating in the pandemic. Our good friend, Stormy Maya, is releasing, and I believe may have released within the next, may have released already, her debut album of Cinnamon Babe. She is a hardcore rocker, and, I've heard some of the stuff. It's very good. And Stormy Maya is just a force of nature. So if you're not familiar with who she is, she was a great guest. I'd say, I think it's going on like a year by now, but she was just amazing. And she's created just phenomenal work. Like, literally, when most people are asleep, Stormy Maya's making stuff. So check her out. She's on Instagram, Stormy Maya 2, and excuse me, now Cinnamon Babe. And she's also on TikTok. So beautiful, brilliant, wild, definitely worth a catch up with. And last but not least, our dear, sweet Ariana Gray, who has been kicking mad ass over there at jackpotbeauties.com. Her live streams, have been amazing. I know jack shit about jackpots, about slot gambling, but I enjoy watching her win. Even when she loses, it's still entertaining. It's still fun. She's got charisma, by the buckets. So definitely check her out, jackpotbeauties.com. And actually, we hope to get her on the show pretty soon. So cross your fingers, everybody. And same for Stormy. So if you guys are listening, you guys said you'd come on. So I'm holding you to that. Anyway, today's episode, we're going to talk about the 7 reasons that resolutions make you a loser. And I know that might be kind of, you might be thinking, well, Jackson, what the hell are you talking about? How can resolutions make you a loser? Well, you'd be surprised. And I'm going to sound anti-resolution, and that's because I am. And we'll talk about why in just a few moments. But just don't make resolutions. And we'll talk about some other options, to doing that typical New Year's Eve stuff. But, or post New Year's Eve, I should say by now. So 7 reasons resolutions make you a loser. Reason number 1 is that they are based on a false time frame. They remove your control. They force you to perceive change as a sprint instead of a marathon. And subconsciously, you select them. You don't choose them, in the forefront of your mind with careful thought and planning. So remove your time frame. What do I mean by that? Remove your control, I'm sorry. And a false time frame. So if you really want to make changes in your life for the better, you're going to make the changes or start to make the changes right then and there on the moment. When you get into the hype of it's, New Year's Eve, or it's, a brand new year, I need to make resolutions. Now you're on a fake timetable. You didn't choose this time. You're just going with the flow. That's false. In going with that idea of this false time frame, you've lost your control. And by control, I mean your decision-making power over aspects of your life, especially things you want to change, right? So you are now giving it up freely because you're joining this mass idea that a new year equals a new you, right? Because that's kind of like the slogan. Seeing change as a sprint instead of a marathon, to me, that's huge, because a lot of people fail in their changes because they think it's supposed to happen overnight. They think it's going to be, a one-day change to fix your finances, a one-day change to lose whatever weight, and so on. And that's not the case. And when you do this and you fail because it's normal, then you lose that momentum, and then you give up, and then people start going, well, I can't change my life, or I can't do things, etc. So it's not a sprint. Huge changes. Now the mindset can be changed quickly, but for life to catch up with the mindset may take a little bit of time, even if it takes a day or 2 days, etc. Resolutions are subconsciously chosen, or the idea to make resolutions. So you start to feel it at the beginning of a new year. You feel that, that pressure to, this is what I'm going to say, what's going to be my plan, how I'm going to change things, how I'm going to make things different. And that's just not the case. You're not choosing this. You're feeling this internal pressure from external expectations, and that's kind of a setup for failure. So the second reason that resolutions are bad is that they are based on negative emotions. They're based off of what you shouldn't do. They're based off of shame and guilt. And when you make decisions based on negative emotions, your actions are typically doomed to fail. Resolutions don't come from a place of self-love towards improvement. Obviously nobody's perfect, and we all have things we can do better, but we should make changes based off of our successes. Like, hey, you know what? Last year I got in a better shape than I was the year before. I want to keep that going. As opposed to going, I feel like a fat ass pig. I need to drop 20 pounds. See the difference? One is based on your successes and pushes you forward with a positive momentum. And the other one, players, is just to tear down. And that's not going to lead to anywhere good. Resolutions, excuse me, I'm making a resolution not to cough during a podcast. Resolutions can come from a place of loathing and will only lead to further loathing, and it's, and we'll talk about how resolutions and your actions are like bricks in the house coming up. The third reason resolutions lead you to losing ultimately is that they're decisions that you're not going to keep up anyway. If you were going to keep up with them, you would have already done them. They set you up for failure. They sink you further into sorrow, right? It's that whole thing well, I'm terrible, I should do better. And, very few positive long-term routes of change are maintained by guilt. Guilt is a poor long-term motivator. It's much better to be motivated by, I've had a taste of doing something better, and I want more of that in my life, as opposed to, I'm bad at this, or I've always done bad at that. Self-forgiveness and a positive attitude is a much better way to level up your game than whipping yourself and using that to make resolutions. Resolutions also in addition to setting you up for failure, tend to be very vague, right? And have no direction or plan. Like, I'm going to, read the 7 characteristics of successful people or 7 traits of successful people by Stephen Covey. Okay, that's great. What's the plan? Am I going to do it in a month? Am I going to do it in 2 months? Am I going to read, a chapter a day? Like, when you make a choice of your own to do better, you come up with a plan. Resolutions are just like, that's just ear service and lip service. We just say to sound and feel temporarily like we've got some hand on our life. 4th reason is that they empower your weak side. Strong decisions are based on successes and positive direction. Resolutions only focus on shortcomings and weakness. You revisit all your misgivings, right? Your failings, your mistakes, and that type of thinking empowers your weak side because it lingers and focuses on all the mistakes you've ever made. Every action you take is a brick. Every decision, every feeling you have is a brick. And you have to decide what type of house you're building. Are these bricks positive and you're building a house based on strength? Or are these bricks weak and miserable and you're building a house of weakness? The 5th reason is that resolutions are based on undesired actions. Most resolutions are things people don't really want to do. Eventually, the animal side of a human being that doesn't want to do an undesirable thing is going to win, and you will fail, you'll lose. And even worse so, you're going to become tied to the outcome, and you're going to feel like a loser because you just lost at a resolution. And it's probably not the first resolution that you've canned, which is why people should not make resolutions, but should make changes. Focusing on that which brings you misery along a path towards an ambiguous goal is only going to bring you more misery and more ambiguity. Like, oh, this year I'll lose 20 pounds or, so I can be happier. Well, no. Or, oh, I'm going to save $10,000 so I can be happier. Nope. You want to be happy right now with what you got. And then the other things that you desire and that you want to gain will be much easier to bring into your life. I've known people who are multi-millionaires and they're the unhappiest people in the world. And I know people who are dirt broke and they're super happy. It's not, we think it's about the stuff, the car, the women, the men, whatever it is, the money, the house, etc. It's not. Being happy is about right here, this moment. If you're happy right now with what you have and who you are, you can always want to level up and evolve, but you will find it much easier to attain those new levels, those new joyful aspects of your life if you're happy with where you are right now. Happy and complacent aren't the same thing, guys. Don't get that confused. Resolutions are created without any support system at all. There's a term that I fell in love with when I was reading Think and Grow Rich, and some other works by Napoleon Hill, and he mentions the mastermind idea. I call it the mastermind collective. That sounds much more science fiction than it is, but a mastermind is a group of people who, they keep you accountable. You can bounce ideas off of, you can brainstorm with. They help you level up because they themselves are in a pursuit of leveling up. When you come up with a resolution, you don't have any mastermind in place. You're just saying something to feel good in the moment before, the clock hits midnight or, 2 days after it hit midnight or whatever it is in that first week. Good decisions and changes are often made with a mastermind collective in place. Resolutions are a knee-jerk reaction to holiday craziness. So resolutions are, it's a knee-jerk idea. It's poorly supported because nobody there knows you or knows what you're talking about. You're just saying something like, I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to get a girlfriend. I want to get married. Nobody is there to go, all right, well, like, let's talk this out. Like, let's come up with a plan. Resolutions are made in a vacuum with no accountability partners, no checks and balances, and no success team selected. So you got to have those things to successfully make changes in your life. And lastly, resolutions remove your power. Waiting to do anything positive and impactful is a loss of power. Resolutions are based on this very notion, I'll make more money when, I'll lose weight or get healthy this time, I'll be happy when. No, 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 no. No, you can have your power. You can have your happiness now in this very moment with whatever you've got. And then you can add on from there. So instead of resolutions, I recommend the following. Decide what you want for your life. Create a plan. Play stages on this plan. Like 6 months, I want to be at this point. A year, I want to be at this point. 6 years, whatever. And get yourself a mastermind collective. People who, know you, people who you trust, and people who will, help guide you through these different changes in your life. I wish you guys all the best 2022. We've got amazing guests lined up. We've got awesome shows coming at you. And we're going to help level you up, player. Keep it sexy and game on. What if you could be a better player for the cost of one more cup of coffee a month? Get access to a growing library of lit erotica, behind-the-scenes action, and player's guides with tips on drinking, cooking, fitness, dating, sex, and life after dark. Low tier rate while offer lasts. Patreon.com, gameonwithjack.
You on my hips, me on your lips, so sweet. Both understanding. When we're a team, nothing can get to me. I'm yours for the taking. Every part, all of my heart, I don't fear nothing. When I'm with you, and baby, when you're